Well, today I did something that actually I don't usually do, which is reading, and I must admit that it has been a painful thing because it has been a while now that I have, let's say, a little bit of no difficulties in reading. Really, it doesn't appeal me anymore. If I think about myself back in the days, like maybe 20 years ago, when my interest in spirituality started to flourish, and I go in the other room. I'm currently in my hometown. It's full of mystical books that right now, even if I look at them, I start to have headache. From astrology to mysticism, from India, from European one, South American one, tarot, crazy stuff, new agey stuff, everything that I could really put my hands on, because I was moved by this thirst of understanding things and try to grasp them intellectually. That's why today I decided to film this video and explain why I don't talk about Nei Gong in a mystical way. First of all, we have to understand that Nei Gong is an internal energy practice. Nei means internal, Qi means energy, and Gong means practice. And it is an internal alchemy, actually. It's just that I don't like to use this word, maybe because I know how dangerous ideas are. But today I was moved by the fact that I received in the past few days, and just maybe a coincidence, a few emails from different people mentioning to me a very mystical concept that I actually had to research on my iPad because I'm quite ignorant. I will explain what I mean by this in a second. So they asked me if Nei Gong was about realizing the golden embryo. I think it's called in the Neidan tradition, or what was the other one? Well, immortality, all this kind of stuff. I think we have to start by making something clear. The reason why we start a path like this, it's because we are still sleeping. And when I mean sleeping is we don't see things for what they are, we see things through our lens of ideas and experiences, traumas, conditionings. So we don't see reality for what it is. We basically we're not quiet. Just let's keep it simple. We're not quiet. We're not able just to be empty and look at things in a very open, unfiltered way. So the reason why we get involved with a path like this, it's probably that. Unless maybe we want to look after our body and we want to improve it or increase the vital energy and all the rest of it. But we have to understand that Nei Gong is just one tool like many out there. I did the previous video where I said that there's nothing that is better than something else. And I want to explain now why I don't use this kind of mystical terms, which I think are highly dangerous. Nei Gong is a very practical system. And I think we are very lucky that we have a system that brings results and experiences that don't need somebody else to sell them, in one sense. So we have videos proving certain abilities, which again, it's just the tip of the iceberg of what, it's just an external demonstration just to prove that we just don't talk about energy, we are able to take it to a very high degree. But that is not the goal. Now, it will be much better for me personally in terms of business to start to use mystical words and to start to say things which are actually true, because Nei Gong is an internal alchemical practice. It means that we are doing some internal work and some internal transformation is happening on a subtle level of ourself that eventually is going to impact many layers of ourselves, physical, emotional, mental, and also allows us to expand beyond our idea of ourselves. So it will be very good actually for me if I start to talk in these terms. And somehow I feel that when some people rightfully, they ask me this question, does Nei Gong allow us to create golden embryo, all immortality, all these kind of things? my answer, I feel like in an uncomfortable position because I don't want to say yes, which is actually the truth, because it is gonna just increase the expectation that they have about this concept. Because let's understand one thing. When we ask something like this, we ask the ideas that we have about these things because we don't know what they are. So if I reply yes, okay, I will have a new customer, right? New student showing up, who's gonna probably buy the trip of that kind of realizing that golden embryo and mortality, all the rest of it, which is possible with these practices, but is gonna follow it according to his own idea. And that's probably the crucial point that I want to talk about in this video. I hope that I can express it clear so you can leave without losing your time listening to me. One thing is to get to a result by having the experiences and not knowing actually what the experiences are meant to be like. One thing is to buy a script and follow it and believing that you're going that direction. The first one is going to bring you to a real, tangible, verifiable thing for yourself because firsthand you know what it feels like, you know what it is. And then if you read something like I'm doing today myself, researching all these weird terms and seeing if actually those things are true in my experience, that would be a subsequent process that I think it's better to do. So first you do the experience, totally ignorant. Then maybe you read because or in the case of my students, then you talk to your teacher, you validate your experience with your teacher who has more experience than you and can tell you, yes, that's what that thing is about. Or maybe for sake of curiosity, for some reason you become a teacher in life, whatever, you are put in that strange position that sometimes you have to reply to certain things. Then you read and you see actually if that experience corresponds to the one that you discovered for yourself. So that's the first approach, which is the one that we really encourage in the Nei Qi Gong Fu school, even in terms of certain, let's say, more exoteric practices that we have in general for all the practices. But for certain practices, I have one in particular in my mind. We don't say what's going to happen, but for all the practices, it's true. But one in particular that might generate some expectation, which is the Lin Chi practice, the recall of the spiritual energy, level 9 of the basic program. We don't say what's going to happen. But when that experience happens, all the practitioners, they have the same thing to report that they validate with their teacher, right? So, and in general, even for other practices, we don't say what's going to happen because each of us is different. We don't want to influence and transform with expectation of the result of a practice. Everybody moves at different speeds, picks up different things. We are different. And what's the point, of buying stories? If you want to buy stories or entertain yourself, you watch Netflix, you sit 2 hours, you know at least that you just dreaming for a little bit. You're watching fiction, whatever it is, and it's right there, then you turn TV off and you leave. So in the same way, I think that this kind of, I totally understand that was the same, this kind of mystical research and approach and questions that sometimes we make, rightfully, when we want to learn something from somebody, can be highly misleading. Because in one way you have to see it like this. Probably there are teachers, many other teachers out there who throw all these words out, mystical words, nei dan, nei here, nei there, all this kind of stuff. Very little proof of what they are doing, and they get lots of people in. And then after a while, these people, they just say, okay, but, no result or whatever, I feel that I've not achieved what was promised. So it can be very good to attract people, but I don't think it's a good way to go. It's like, an example of a beautiful girl. A beautiful girl doesn't need to sell herself. People go to her, right? Because proof are there, she's beautiful, right? But somebody who is halfway, I will say they need to be more proactive. So they need to make more promises. So or to offer a bit more. So I prefer this approach, the first one actually, because I don't want to delude people, and this is the way also we run the school, but this is my way of being, So just to recap everything I said, when I get these kind of mystical questions, I feel that one part of myself want to say, yes, it's true, the other part, no, because I don't want to encourage. Of course, if I say no, people will say, go somewhere else, I don't care. But I don't want to encourage that kind of approach, because I noticed in my own skin how dangerous and how useless and how eluded, what's the English word? Fake, wrong, that approach is on the long run. So it's better to be practical about something. I can understand if it is the first time that you want to approach a system. If you don't, you're not able to make sense out of the proof, out of the informations that are available out there, of course, reach out and then maybe give a week of trust and practice with constancy and see if actually there is an improvement in your life. Because this kind of mystical talk, eventually it's just a big entertainment, which is not the ultimate goal. And whatever we do, it's just a tool to eventually get to a point where we don't need anything else. But this is understood later on, because of course we feel that we have to do something to get somewhere and to achieve something particular, when in reality it's not like that. But we have to go through certain things, of course, to make sense out of this. So I hope that the video was clear and useful, and feel free to check the website, reach out if you have any questions. You know already the way I will reply to some of them, and have a good day.
Just before you go, I want to tell you that there is a new book available called Story of a Qigong Practitioner. It's a book that I wrote recently. It has been translated in 3 languages, in Spanish and in Italian also. It is a book that it's perfect, I think, for everybody practicing energy practices, whether you're doing Nei Qigong or just Qigong or some kind of energy practices, but also if you are a spiritual seeker, as I am and I was actually for a long time, I think this book can provide great insight. If you want to check it out, there is also the audiobook available. This book at the moment is available on Amazon, so you can buy it everywhere in your country. And the audiobook has been distributed at the moment, so might be everywhere in a little time, in platforms such as Audible, Apple Books, all these kind of places. If you want to get it, you can also go on my website in the link below, and also in the web address that you see on this video, Nei Gong Jiaoshi Andrea /book, where you can get the audiobook and the book for a very special price, in the sense that you're gonna have also a promo code to use for your first Nei Gong class. So click the link, go there, check it out. I think it's worth it, and hopefully it's going to be useful for you for your energy practice journey. But not only that, it's a book that can really transform the way you think.